the Watchful shadows. It was a quiet Friday night when Mia, the babysitter, settled into the cozy living room of the Johnsons' house. The soft glow of the lamp illuminated her surroundings as she flipped through channels, waiting for the kids to settle down. They had been a bit rowdy earlier, but now the house was still, a comforting calm enveloping her. Suddenly, her phone buzzed. It was a call from the parents. "Hey, Mia, just wanted to remind you to check on the kids upstairs before we get home," Mrs. Johnson said, her voice cheerful. "Sure thing. They're probably just playing a little longer," Mia replied, glancing around the room. Just then, something caught her eye. A figure flickered in the corner of the living room. She squinted, convinced it was just one of the kids being silly, perhaps hiding behind the couch. With a chuckle, she waved it off. "They're probably just being goofy," she said. Still on the phone, "I'll go check on them in a minute." "Okay, great. Thanks, Mia. See you soon," Mrs. Johnson said. And with that, the call ended. Mia stood up, stretching her legs, and headed toward the staircase. The air felt different, a sudden chill wrapping around her. She brushed it off, telling herself it was just her imagination. As she climbed the stairs, the wooden steps creaked softly under her weight. She pushed open the door to the kids' room, a wave of relief washing over her as she saw them tucked safely in their beds, their small bodies rising and falling in gentle rhythm. "See? All safe and sound," she whispered to herself, smiling. But just as she turned to leave, a whisper slithered through the air behind her, chilling her to the bone. "We're not alone." Mia's heart raced as she spun around, but the room was empty. The echo of the voice lingered, hanging heavy in the air. She shook her head, trying to convince herself it was just the wind or perhaps a trick of her mind. "Guys, this isn't funny," she called out, hoping the kids were just playing a prank. Silence answered her, thick and oppressive. She took a hesitant step back toward the doorway, the hair on the back of her neck standing on end. Just then, she felt it, a cold breath against her ear. "We're not alone," the voice whispered again, more insistent this time, sending a shiver coursing through her. Mia turned back toward the room, the shadows now appearing to dance ominously along the walls. Panic surged through her. She sprinted for the door, but it slammed shut before she could reach it. Her pulse quickened as she rattled the handle, but it wouldn't budge. Desperate, she spun around, her eyes wide with fear. The shadows began to twist and take form, darker figures emerging from the corners of the room, their eyes gleaming with a malevolent light. The air thickened with dread as the whispering intensified, the figures closing in around her. "We've been waiting for you," they hissed in unison, their voices a haunting chorus. Just as the darkness seemed ready to consume her, she screamed, "Let me go." The door creaked open, and she bolted down the stairs, not daring to look back. She dashed outside into the cool night air, gasping for breath, her heart racing with terror. The Johnsons' car turned the corner, headlights illuminating her frantic figure. As the parents rushed toward her, concern etched on their faces, Mia glanced back at the house. In the window she saw them, the children, still asleep in their beds, and behind them, a shadowy figure smiling wide, watching her leave.